So I'm upset by it, and I'm hurt by it, and I feel betrayed by it.
Are they still paying you?
Yeah, they're still paying me.
I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna see Patricia McCloskey. I wanna scream for the GOP. I wanna sit with Dan Bongino. I wanna show the American flag. Eggs behind the toilet in Grandma's basement. I wanna ask him if he'll be my dad. I wanna change my name to Nick Bongino. I wanna tell him about the man in the stairs. He kinda looks like Dan Bongino. Grandma tries to tell me not to go down there, but I would be safe with Dan Bongino. I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna be like Dan Bongino. I wanna be at the RNC. I wanna be like Dan Bongino.
Systems, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers, scum. They're on giant death factories, keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin, and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot belly goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I fear to go.
We're such self-centered crap, we don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
I'm an incel myself, so do you know what the incel is? Involuntary celibate. It's like a community of people on the internet who can't get laid, and some of them go out and like kill people, like Elliot Rodger. I'm not saying
I'm cringing right now.
I'll explain it later. The virgin is the incel, involuntarily celibate, who never gets laid. He's like unable to get laid. He's very nerdy. He has terrible posture, and that would be someone that would be considered a fag. Holy shit, dude.
This is a short ad break by Hassan Piker. I want you to redistribute the wealth to Mall Brawl by order of Communist Turkey. Follow his Twitch streams at Mall Brawl.
It's cool. There's like 8 sinks, so.
I love crap.
Wait, what the heck? Bro, what this? What that? What is this? I said I would clap the fucking shit out of Ben Shapiro's ass cheeks, dude. Oh, that's terrible.
I'm gonna take that as a
how old are
compliment.
you?
16. Just kidding.
Okay, bye. Holy shit, dude.
Ray is here with us today.
You know, I almost don't want to even give this young Turk, George Soros-funded creature any attention, but she wants it. She needs to get it. Her name is Ray Vaughn.
Certified freak, 7 days a week.
I love Dave Rubin.
Wet ass pussy, make that pull-out game weak.
I read his book.
Fuck you. You're fucking insane.
And Ray, you are truly an inspiration to all who are here today and all of our great country. Thank you, Ray, for being with us. Thank you.
This is a deranged pervert.
Thank you.
and now you're just turning to fucking ad hominems because you literally can't back it up. Back it up.
Back it up.
Fuck it up.
Back it up.
Fuck it up.
It's just skin.
Ooh, fuck it up.
Back it up. Back it up.
Fuck it up.
And it's not good.
Ooh,
Back it up.
fuck it up.
Back it up.
Fuck it up.
Penises, they're the worst.
Ooh, fuck it up.
Back it up. Back it up.
Fuck it up.
Penises are not the worst. Penises are great.
Recovery mode.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I know I was muted. I know that now. Where did I put my glasses? Hi. Hi, Willow. Hearts and farts, but never sharts. Okay. Hi, Chris Huggy. Hi, Ree. Hi, Nerd. Discount Seth Rogen. Canadian. Hello, Adric. Hi, everybody. It's been, what, like a week? A little more than a week since I last talked to you. And in that time, I finished and graduated law school. And thank you. I graduated on Sunday. I finished on Friday. I was supposed to host the main show on Friday, and I was supposed to be on Dr. Richie's show, but my last final got rescheduled to Friday, so I couldn't do it. Thank you, everybody. Hi, Critical Ace Theory. Graduated law school. How many laws out of 10 did you get? 10 laws out of 10. I'm the number one law. Congratulations, by the way, on graduating. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm not Esquire yet. I have to finish. I have to take and pass the bar to be Esquire, but I am JD officially, which is great. Also, I'm going to be hosting an episode of the main show every single week in June. And for 10 days, I will be filling in for J.R. Jackson. I really need to remember when that starts. But yeah, I did it. I finished law school. It was hard. Oh, Marshall, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs. Oh, also, Nerd, thank you so much for resubbing. Let me put some music on in the background. I'm a little nervous because the last time I tried to do this, I had to restart my entire computer. Maybe I'll just Google DMCA free music. That's a big accomplishment. Well done. Happy grad, Ray. You deserve all the good things. Thank you. I can't even believe it's done. It still doesn't feel real. Turn this way down. Can you hear it? Yeah, it's probably too loud. Maybe that. That's probably a good volume, right? Your mom and dad must be so proud. Oh, thank you. They are. No, it was great. I would show you the video of me graduating, but then you would know my name. So I'm not going to do that. Marshall Ghetto is one of the most generous gifters on many streams. Very true. A huge benefactor on this stream. Yeah, I would be doxing myself. I will say, so for anyone who doesn't like know how, so law school graduation, you're technically, you know, a doctorate level graduation. So they give you hoods when you graduate. They put them over your head. It's like the scarf thing that you see doctors wear, PhD people wear. Oh, thank you for gifting to Ree, Marshall. But when I walked up there, so they would send us up there 3 at a time. They would say 3 people's names. We walk up there. There was 3 professors up there to put the hoods on for us. The person who was supposed to put my hood on, I don't know why, they just walked away when I got up there. So I was standing up there like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, like waiting for someone, because they have to put it on for you. And I'm like, what the fuck? So thankfully one of my professors jumped up and saved me. I look like an idiot. But of course that would happen to me. Of course that would happen to me. Naturally. Anyway, I graduated. It's done. I did it. Can't even believe it. Feels surreal. Knowing that I don't have to go back to school is so odd. I've been in school forever. They don't just give you the magic wand you can use to cast the law on people in your license to law badge. Listen, I'm actually a very firm believer that we should get rid of the bar and that graduating law school should be sufficient to pass or to practice law. I really do think that. Because, like, the thing about the bar is, like, if you could pass an ethics test and you've gone to law school, graduated law school, I think that's enough. There are states that do that. Like, in Wisconsin, if you went to University of Wisconsin law school, you can practice in the state without taking the bar. Or Louisiana is like that. The bar is a biatch from what I've heard. Yeah, it's definitely not fun. Is there a medical equivalent to the bar? Wouldn't it be like the boards? That's what theirs are called. Great. If I remember Grey's Anatomy, I think that's what it is. It's not quite the same though. You gonna take the bar exam? Eventually. They only do it they do it twice a year, so you can only take it at very specific time periods. Hey, City of Doors, thank you. Jay Hawker, thank you so much for resubbing for almost 2 years. That's crazy. Yeah, but the entire time I've been streaming, I've been in law school. So, guess I'll have more free time on my hands. At least I should, theoretically. Will I? Who knows? You'll definitely pass it. You're extremely intelligent and you know your shit. Thank you. How's Jay? Jay's good. Jay's working. Teachers have to take BTSA in California. It's basically 2 extra years of teaching school, and sometimes your school pays for it, but sometimes it's extra $1,800 teachers need to pay. Ugh. Legal question. I'm an ordained minister. Since I can marry people, can I also divorce them? No. You better stream more, lazy arse, miscatching your VODs. I've been focusing on finishing school, and I also fucking moved, which was not easy. But yeah, I'll have a lot more free time now. Has Kitty adjusted to the new place? No accents? No, she loves it here. She's so happy here. Austin was banned today? Oh no, this is fake. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, no, Miss Kitty loves it because there's stairs here. She loves running up and down the stairs. RAC, hello. Congrats on graduating. Thank you so much. And thank you for resubbing for 27 months. It's crazy that that's even possible. It doesn't feel real that I've even been a streamer that long. How much student loan debt did you accrue? I don't want to think about that. That's really not something that I want to consider right now. A lot. A lot. A large number. Yeah. Still, you brighten all our days though until you get hired as a crack legal counsel for a nonprofit. You better enlighten us. I'll be here. Who knows what I'll end up doing with my life? So, stairs on the inside. There is stairs on the inside. School is way too expensive. School is expensive. Fortunately, you don't have to pay it before you do it. This is the only way I was able to go to law school. It's just you and Miss Kitty. No roommates, no roommates. My twin's dog, Favi, also loves stairs, runs up and down for fun, but I'm on team cancel stairs. Fair enough. Fair enough. Welcome back to the entire regulatory world has been absolutely destroyed. Yep. Because your old place was a walk-up, right? So she couldn't play on them? Yeah, I was on a 3rd floor walk-up. Horrible. Horrible fucking, I hated it. I hated it so much. I'm actually curious about this because this was Fox News. Why are they in Naperville? Interviewing people in Naperville about the mayor of Chicago. Okay, let's watch this.
In Naperville, Illinois. Good morning, Giano.
Good morning. That's right. We're talking to folks here who happen to be from Chicago. We're right outside of Chicago. Big Dale, I'm so sorry for the loss of your son in 2021, Keon.
Okay, I'm sorry. You didn't just happen to run it. First of all, you're at a breakfast place in Naperville at 5:56 a.m. These people didn't just happen to be there. This is a total setup. Second of all, Naperville is not Chicago.
You had a birthday party for yourself and you decided to take it to the north side of Chicago because you believe the south side to be unsafe, and he was still murdered. I'm so sorry for your loss.
I'm sorry. That's so fucking funny. It's so shameless. This is so fucking shameless. This is so shameless. What are you doing?
How are you doing, and what do you think about the election of Mayor Brandon Johnson?
Well, I think it's a fluke. I don't think he's going to do any better than Lori Lightfoot. I have no confidence in him. He's already coming in the gate saying the wrong thing. Like we had to leave the south side to go to the north side, thinking that my son would be safe there, and he still was murdered. So I don't see anything.
What did they say his name was?
Good morning, Giano.
Good morning. That's right. We're talking to folks here who happen to be from Chicago. We're right outside of Chicago.
They just so happen to be here.
Big Dale, I'm so sorry for the loss of your son in 20.
It cut. I can't hear his name. I wanted to Google the story.
He's already coming in the gate saying the wrong thing. Like we had to leave the south side to go to the north side, thinking that my son would be safe there, and he still was murdered. So I don't see anything turning better for Brandon Johnson with him being in office.
Dude, this is so shameless. This is so fucking shameless. I'm sorry. This is not, you're not even in Chicago. Big Dale? I don't know. Is that not obviously like a someone planted there. Is that not super fucking shameless? I feel like this is their whole play lately, and for a bit and poorly constructed setup vids, it's so embarrassing. Like, also, first and foremost, and I already said this, but Naperville is not Chicago. That is an entirely different city. What? No, it's not. Naperville may be the anti-Chicago. It's like a whole joke in Chicago that if a girl tells you she's from Chicago, she's really from Naperville. My city is closer to Chicago than Naperville. Did he say how old his son was? Or where he died? I don't think I mean, it's like, I'm not doubting that his son died. I just think that the whole thing was super embarrassing. Naperville is better than Chicago. Okay, sure. They have a beach. There's a beach in Chicago. There's a beach in Chicago. I'm by Bridgeview. Bridgeview's pretty much Chicago. An artificial beach with cool guys named Rick. We didn't live together when we started the podcast. We're just making a new schedule. Plus somewhere there is Bueller is chilling around there. Oh, Ferris Bueller. The Riverwalk was great for Pokemon Go in Naperville. I forgot that that game existed. I'm sorry, I just saw that on my other monitor and I had to talk about it for a second. How have you all been? Racism on the yellow card. I know people who still play it. I have a friend who still plays it. Congratulations on graduating. Thank you so much, Ben. Okay, what is this? I went live with no intention of like anything specific I wanted to talk about. So if there's anything you want me to watch, tell me. Yeah, if you don't want to be accountable for misinformation for a while, for some reason, you can create situations where people are saying things. Many people are saying this.
But I mean, when you link to somebody who's talking about the guy who killed children in a mall in Allen, Texas, and you say something like it.
This is CNBC, Elon Musk talking about the mass shooting. Hey, Fargo. Remind me to message you about my grad party if I didn't already.
Might be a bad psyop. I'm not quite sure what you meant, but.
Oh, in that particular case, there was somehow that's not that that obviously people were killed, but it was, I think, incorrectly ascribed to be a white supremacist action.
He had Nazi tattoos. I think this might have happened after I streamed last. I can't remember the timeline of it. But he had Nazi tattoos. He had a swastika tattooed on his chest. He had a giant swastika tattooed on his chest. He was a Nazi. He was a white supremacist.
And the evidence for that was some obscure Russian website.
The police confirmed that there was a swastika tattoo on his chest. So that obscure Russian website was right, and his profile on that obscure Russian website belonged to him because those were his tattoos. The police confirmed it.
That no one's ever heard of, that had no followers. And the company that found this is Bellingcat.
Right.
And do you know what Bellingcat does? PsyOps.
Right. I couldn't really even follow exactly what it was you were trying to express there, so
I'm sorry, this man is so ugly.
exactly.
PsyOps.
Right. I couldn't really even follow exactly.
Dude, you can't really hear. I'm gonna force you to look at that guy. Look at that. He is so ugly. Unnerving. It's unsettling. It's like not even a human face.
What it was you were trying to express there, so that's in part why I was curious.
I'm saying that I thought the ascribing it to white supremacy was bullshit.
Okay.
And that the information for.
But it was true. It was confirmed. Marshall, thank you so much for gifting to Sock. And hello, Spamtana. Thank you for resubbing for 21 months. But it was true, though. We know it was true. By the time they did this, we knew it was true. It was true. That was his profile. The tattoos were his. We know that for a fact.
That came from an obscure Russian website and was somehow magically found by Bellingcat, which is a company that does PsyOps.
And there's no proof, by the way, that he was not.
There's no. I would say that there's no proof that he is.
The police confirmed that he had swastika tattoos. Also, Ray, by the way, it happened during your break, but you tweeted about this. Saw the tattoos first on your Twitter. Also, I just want. What do you get out of? Why do you want him to not be a white supremacist? Like, why is it important for you that he is not a white supremacist? Why do you need to? Why are you afraid that people are besmirching the good names of white supremacists?
And that's a debate you want to get into on Twitter?
Yes. Because we should not be ascribing things to white supremacy if it's false.
Okay.
What?
Debate you want to get into on Twitter?
Yes. Because we should not be ascribing things to white supremacy if it's false.
Why? Why? What? Literally, he is just saying, don't besmirch the good name of white supremacy. Like, how is there any other way to interpret that? First of all, it wasn't false. And by the time you did this interview, you knew that. Marshall, thank you so much for gifting. When I joined the stream minutes after the announcement in your Discord, the stream said you had been streaming for 2 hours. No, I haven't been streaming for 2 hours. Same reason us Muslims always dread that a mass killer is Arab/Muslim. I was kind of getting at the fact that he's afraid of, because he is a white supremacist, which he is. Like, this is just mask off Nazi shit. How does a CNBC reporter make it seem like he agrees with Musk by saying right after Musk calls Bellingcat one of the most respected investigative journalism outlets in the world is PSYOP? Yeah, when people are incorrect in their assumptions about the background of world events repeatedly, the question is not what is your reasoning in this instance, but instead, why are you incapable of processing information accurately? Ah yes, you're tarnishing the legacy of good white supremacists like Nick Fuentes and Matt Walsh. What does this have to do with business? Nothing. I guess they were talking about whether or not it was appropriate for him to be having the discussion on Twitter. But it's not. I feel like something else happened while I was gone that I was supposed to watch or care about, but I don't remember what it was now, so. I know he didn't finish that debate between Tim Pool and whatever, but Tim Pool sucks shit, and I don't want to... Tim Pool helped inspire that mass shooter, so I don't want to watch any of his stuff anymore. Hey, Story Girl, thank you! Oh, there's some really okay, I'm not usually one for conspiracies, but there is some strange stuff as it pertains to the Boston bombers. There was definitely some bizarre things going on underplaying the facts of that case. So do we expect to see you opening up your own practice and becoming an IRL character from Suits now? No, because that type of law they did was bad law. Big law, evil law. Ethan Klein and Oli London. Oh, I didn't watch that. Thank you, Spooky. It is my retainer fee. I'm now your lawyer. I have to say I'm not. But thank you so much for resubbing. That is a very unexplored story. Read the Boston Marathon Bombers. Yeah. Ray is basically Meghan Markle. She was in Suits, I think. I don't know. I never watched it. Yeah, I'm basically... I'm the white Meghan Markle. We could watch the Oli London thing. That was the response I was hoping for. Keep the faith. Giving Ray a truly Saul Goodman style, so she becomes your lawyer. See, if I was gonna be a lawyer, I'm a Kim Wexler. I'm on my Kim Wexler shit. So you are a lawyer, but you are not allowed to do something like Nelson and Murdoch. I have my law degree. I'm not a lawyer. I should watch the Oli London thing. Okay, we'll do that then. Let me pull it up. Pog, you congrats on law school. I'm starting law school this fall. Thank you, and don't. I'm sure everybody tells you that who's a lawyer when you say you're going to law school. Don't do it. You should do it, and you'll be great. But also, don't do it, and you'll hate it. Too late now. Thank you for the biddies. Thank you, Adric. You're the best. I want to get another drink before I start this. Kim Wexler is bogus. Lalo should have put her... Stop! Stop! Don't besmirch the name of Kim Wexler. Also, Lalo is a loser. Sorry. Kim Wexler... Sorry, I read that already. Okay, I sent 3 links because when I bring these topic up on the other streams, they say, try Ray. Wait, you DM me? Okay, give me 1 second to open them up.
Wait.
You did DM them to me? Oh, these are stories about the air travels. Yeah. Yeah, we're worried. Like, okay, so I can't say too much. My organization is involved in a piece of litigation against a major airline company for damaging someone's wheelchair. But yeah, there's been a huge push to and one of the cases is going to go to the Supreme Court this year, which is huge. It will go in the fall. But and I've talked about this a couple times. Let me just sort of briefly touch on this before we watch the video. But there is really poor application of the ADA on flights. Covers your position, but always stand up inside your profession. Thank you. And thank you for resubbing. So a lot of wheelchair users, particularly wheelchair users who use a motorized wheelchair, some airlines have a really piss poor system of, one, ensuring that the wheelchairs don't get damaged on the flight, but 2, they also lose the wheelchairs, which limits people's mobility when they get to the location they were flying to in the first place. And they have, by and large, you know, wiped their hands of it and said, we're not responsible, won't pay for the damage. And wheelchairs are expensive. And when you have Medicare, you can only get a certain number of wheelchairs, you know, over a certain period of time. Hey, thank you, Endless. They all only allow you to get a new wheelchair for, you know, a certain amount of time. And yeah, there's like no bathroom access because they'll, you know, once you get into your seat, they take away your wheelchair, thus taking away your mobility. And I mean, at that point, what are they going to do? Lift you and carry you to the bathroom? Not only is that degrading, but, you know, for some people, it's a physical impossibility. But for the most part, it's also dehumanizing and degrading. And airlines really need to do a lot fucking better when it comes to the ADA. I had just a broken leg the last time I flew, and they didn't let me board early. I was like, my foot is broken. Can I please just go first? So I'm not like, you know, just so that I'm not like getting put in the middle seat on the Southwest flight where I'm just gonna, you know, not have a place to put my giant ass cast. Hey, Boy Meets Minnie, thank you so much. I don't know how I would change my son's diaper on a plane. No clue. I mean, yeah, the airlines need to step up, and hopefully this case, you know, at the very least, it would force airlines to pay when they violate the ADA, and it would force them to pay when they, you know, because airlines shirk responsibility for losing people's luggage. They consider losing someone's wheelchair the same as losing their luggage. Obviously, those are two very different fucking things. Losing your luggage is an inconvenience. It sucks shit. Losing your wheelchair, that literally strips you of your mobility. And it could strip you of your mobility for a long period of time. There's real damage being done there. There's real harm being suffered there. And no recourse? I think that's bullshit. Obviously, I have a very strong opinion on the way this case should be determined, and I think that there's no reading of the ADA that you could possibly have that could lead you to any other conclusion than they are responsible. But luggage comes with wheels, so if you can just use that if the wheel. Losing someone's luggage can be ableist as fuck though, especially, yeah. Always try to take your medication and your carry-on if they let you. Thank you, Jay Hawker. But yeah, anyway, so a lot of people don't even, right? Also, Uber and Lyft also consider them items, so they aren't liable if the driver breaks it. But if the driver broke your ankle, they would have to pay. Don't even get me started on Uber. Don't even get me started on Uber. We sued Uber a couple years ago, right when I first started working at the nonprofit. Marshall, thanks so much for gifting to Story Girl. And we lost the lawsuit to Uber, but the lawsuit brought a lot of negative attention on Uber, so they did change their policy here in Chicago about the availability of rides equipped for disabled people. So at least there was some change, but it was annoying that we lost that lawsuit for no good reason. Spooky, thank you so much for gifting to Adric. They only have waive in Chicago city limits to order, but they will take you outside of the city. Sometimes you can get an Uber that is has like a ramp. I got one by accident one time, and I was like, this feels inappropriate. Like, I shouldn't be taking this ride when someone who with a disability might need it. Someone with a mobility disability. I have a disability, but I don't need any, you know, driving or riding accommodations. Okay. Okay, give me one sec. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna get another drink really quick. But I've seen the beginning of this, so I'm just gonna start playing it.
Where grace
Maybe I should do some setup. Shouldn't I do some setup? Let me do some setup. Oli London, for anyone who doesn't know. Oli London is the... I can't just Google. Oli London pretended to be Korean. Oli London was... Oli London transitioned into being Korean. They are a horrifically self-absorbed attention whore. I really don't know how else to describe Oli London, but Oli London has been grifting as though they're a detransitioner, pretending, you know, that they are, you know, raising the alarm and raising awareness on the dangers of transitioning, especially for children, despite the fact that Oli London got plastic surgery to look Korean as an adult, not as a child, wasn't trans, claims retroactively now that he was trans. But yeah, so Oli London is a right-wing grifter, and Ethan Klein has been sort of cornering these pieces of shit in debates and owning them. So let's get into this. Everything else you need to know, I saw the beginning of this. I didn't see the whole thing. I'm sure Ethan will explain Oli London as a person to you all.
By the presence of Oli, let's go ahead and bring him on.
Hi Ethan, how's it going?
Hello, Oli. Nice to
like your
meet you and
outfit.
sit and chat with you.
Nice to see you. I like your outfit, very French with the hat.
Oh, thank you so much. And I think you look wonderful too. We're kind of doing the same thing with our hats, aren't we?
Wasn't planned, but yeah.
Those fucking veneers. Okay, I'm gonna go fill up my drink, but those fucking veneers look ridiculous. Ooh, nice. Sounds good, Spamtana. Ethan did good. Ollie is a dipshit. Ollie is a dipshit. Ethan is that dude. Okay, give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Let me see your profile. Turn to the side. Let me see how it's looking.
Wait, I remember this, so I want to watch this.
Oh, you know, I've actually quit surgery.
No. I mean the beanie. I'm not commenting on your surgery.
Oh, sorry. I thought
want
you
to
meant
see how
my
the
face. I was
beanie's
like...
sitting. You know.
Yeah. No, it's very cool. Well, how's your day so far?
So we're just getting set up here a little bit. So tell me, when was your last surgery? I'm curious.
So I actually quit surgery. Well, my last surgery was last April, but I've completely quit, and I'm never going to do surgery again. I had like recently, I had a non-surgical facelift, but it's no surgery; it's threads. Because you know you can do the same thing these days without the actual surgery. And I was getting to a point even where I would have probably died because I was going. I've probably gone under anesthetic 3 times every year. I was going under anesthetic, so it was like I could have died.
You know, I read somewhere that you spent $300,000 on plastic surgery. I've always wondered, like, where do you get? That's a lot of money. Where'd you get that money?
Well, actually, I used to, before I started doing, you know, social media and K-pop and stuff, I actually was a successful personal shopper. So I had my own personal shopping business in London. So, you know, I used to dress like really, you know, like very wealthy ladies, celebrities.
Oh, okay, like a stylist?
Members of royal family. So, you know, I was dressing them in like Gucci and Tom Ford and stuff, and you get a very high commission for that. So basically I did all that, spent a lot of the money on the surgery. I see. And now I've got like a PR company basically helping influencers get publicity and help them get placements in like television and advertisements and stuff like that and getting them brand deals. And of course I do my own social media, and I've got a book as well coming out this year.
Right, we'll talk about that. But did you say you dressed members of the royal family?
Not the British royal family. So I'd actually met with Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands, and she shopped with me. She brought some
you hung with the Queen?
From me.
Damn.
Yeah, no, but I met loads of people. I met, you know, the Prime Minister of Thailand, the ex-Prime Minister. I used to shop with his wives and girlfriends.
Wow. It must have been hard to leave that behind because, you know, you moved to South Korea, and we're all familiar with that whole journey. That must have been hard to leave all that behind if you were doing so well.
Actually, that was before. So when I lived in Korea as an English teacher, that was actually before. So it was basically, I was younger. I wanted an experience abroad, went to do some teaching in Korea, and then after I got back to London, I started like getting into fashion. I had some friends doing fashion, and then over a couple of years, I worked my way up from a stylist to a personal shopper, and
I see.
kind of did that for about 4 or 5 years.
So let's talk, Ollie, about. Well, first of all, thank you for coming on. I understand you're promoting a book entitled Gender Madness, which comes out August 1st. So congratulations. This is your first book. Very exciting. Gender Madness. Also, you wanted to announce that you're the new spokesperson for Fairness First PAC, Caitlyn Jenner's organization, who famously ran someone over. But that's actually not the most important thing about Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, so basically I've got a new book coming out August 1st. And basically a lot of people have, obviously followed my journey over the years. And obviously I've struggled a lot with identity, and I had some very unhealthy behaviors, basically due to my addiction to surgery, my body dysmorphia, which
Okay, I am gonna give a problematic opinion that I hold very strongly. Not all addictions are made equal. Some of them are bullshit. Okay, we know that there are addictions where you have created a physical dependency on the thing, like getting addicted to alcohol or to cigarettes or certain chemicals and certain drugs. Being addicted to surgery, like, that's on you. Okay, like, I'm not gonna be nearly as sympathetic to that as I might be to somebody who has like a type of addiction that we have a bevy of research for and can you know versus someone who's like, oh, I'm addicted to jerking off. I'm like, that's not something I'm like, you know I don't believe that. Like, I just think that you have low self-control, or in Oli London's case, way too much fucking money. Him equating his addiction to surgeries to my gender dysphoria is wild. Right, like, it's not nearly the same thing. Like, people who have, have developed dependencies on things should get help. That being said, like, this is not, it's not the same thing as having gender dysphoria. Like, it's not the same. Did you hear the Caitlyn Jenner joke? Oh, when he said the thing about, is that the person who killed someone with her car? Yeah, I remember. I listened to this like a couple weeks ago or last week or whatever, but yeah.
Later turned into gender dysphoria. So I really struggle with that, and it was unhealthy. And I completely accept my past. I don't try to deny the person I was, and I had.
That's not true, and let me tell you how I know that that's not true. About a month ago, Oli London tweeted something really disgusting. And I quote tweeted it. And I said, we need to take care of the Oli London problem. And then I followed that tweet up with saying, you pretended to be Korean. You shouldn't be allowed to exist. One of those tweets, the second one, obviously significantly worse than the first. Oli London saw my tweets. Screenshot. Do you think Blago paid $2 million to get his pardon from Rudy? No, I think he sufficiently kissed Trump's ass. He was playing a game. He knew what he was doing. Hey, Daewoo. Thank you for resubbing. He screenshot the first tweet insinuating that I was threatening to murder him, but not the second. And I was wondering, why would he only screenshot the first tweet and not the second, the worst tweet? And then I realized that he didn't want to remind people that what he's detransitioning from is pretending to be Korean. So he is absolutely running from his past. And if he wanted to actually fucking say that I was saying that he should be killed, the second tweet that I made obviously heavily indicated that versus the first tweet, which could be interpreted broadly. Anyway, definitely hiding from that part of his past.
Some kind of bizarre behaviors, basically
Right.
in an attempt to feel validated and to try and, feel loved, because I really
So
resented
I
the
want to
way I
get
looked.
into all those things.
Okay.
I'm really interested in your journey from you identified as a trans woman, right? And then you kind of found God and pivoted to becoming a white British Christian man. Is that do I have the synopsis correct?
Yeah, it sounds
The
complicated, but
fact that
yes,
your
so I'm
tweet
back
got
to
more
the
heat than the transphobic threats all over Twitter says a lot. And it was in response to Oli London saying something about someone's kid too. Like it was gross, whatever they said. Really disturbing. But like of course I'm the person that's doing threats, not Oli London, who's fucking talking about someone's child.
myself now and like finally found happiness. Mhm.
Okay. So I just want to get a few things straight. So do you still identify as gay?
Yes, so I'm still gay, but
Okay.
I have dated girls before, and I still
So you're
I'm kind of more
bisexual, I
bi.
guess. Or
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
He's on his way through the 12-step conversion camp. By the end of it, he will only be dating girls.
Okay. And you don't identify as Korean anymore.
No, correct.
Obviously. And then also are you pro gay rights?
Yeah, absolutely.
You are.
I'm part of the LGBT community. I support people. My issue is just what's happening to children and also the erosion of women's rights. But I fully support people as an adult making an informed decision to change themselves. But I don't support children being medically transitioned.
So you do support trans people in general.
I'm really tired of men telling me that my rights are being eroded. They are being eroded. They're being eroded by your friends, your conservative friends who are taking away my right to an abortion or, stripping me of my autonomy. It has nothing to do with trans people. Trans people have done nothing to interfere with my rights. Trans women are women. They're also having their rights. Trans people are also having their rights stripped away from them. So shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Also, stop talking about women's spaces. What the fuck do these people think happens in a woman's bathroom? I'm losing my mind at that. Like, oh, the safety of a woman's space. It's like a place where someone has written on the stall door in period blood. That's the sanctity, the safe place that you're trying to protect. And from what?
So absolutely. So I support.
It's like we're not running around naked. It's a bathroom.
People as an adult making a decision if they want to change and they're happy with that. But I feel that
women get couches in bathrooms for breastfeeding, which is also like not a place where it's unsanitary to like expect women to breastfeed in the bathroom. Rin, let me tell you, back in the 90s, nightclub bathrooms were not exactly sacrosanct spaces.
That unfortunately the trans movement has been hijacked by a small but growing group of trans activists, which are basically pushing kind of an erosion of women's rights. So that's what I really take an issue with. There's a lot of trans people. I have a lot of trans friends. I know what it's like to be trans.
How is this any different than when? How is this any different than when conservatives used to say that letting gay people get married ruins marriage for the rest of us? I live in a state where I don't even have rights to my own body, but anyway, yes, TERFs are all fighting for my rights by harassing gender nonconforming and trans women in the bathroom, right? And not even just them. Sometimes cis women too, that they just think look trans. What's next? They're gonna let you marry your dog? It's the same recycled argument.
That's really just.
So I think that's what makes it so perverse when gay people are fighting against trans people. Like, are the issues within the community, exactly the same? No, of course not. But are the arguments against it the exact same ignorant bigotry? Yes, they are. So on that front, you're fighting the same fight. You're fighting against the same evil.
Want to live their lives, and they're actually having a tough time now because of these trans activists. So my issue is with trans activists and not actual trans people.
They always say that, but they don't ever make that differentiation. They'll just pick a random trans person on the internet who they have decided is the epitome of evil today and sick their followers after them. People who are, living their lives privately, individually. That's what Libs of TikTok does. Just find some video that has although I think that maybe she killed herself because she's been real fucking quiet lately. So much so that the person who owns the copyright for Libs of TikTok was messaging about her or tweeting about her publicly, which makes me think that maybe she killed herself.
Okay, so you say, here's a tweet of yours from
Praying, please don't come back.
just the end of last month.
I want progress to the point where I can go, hey bros, can someone pass me a pattern under the stall, and I get a pad pass under the stall. I don't think that's demonic or weird or any of that shit. That the stall's big enough that my disabled ass is in it with my service dog. Hi, Clee McDougal.
Not that long ago. You say the goal of the trans movement is not simply to exist. The goal is to erase women, mutilate children, sexualize kids.
Yeah, which is especially ironic, Story Girl, because all of these, the TERFs particularly usually are like, oh no, it's because we love women so much. We love gay women. We're just trying to protect women. And then they'll be fucking harassing cis butch lesbians in the bathroom. But what the end goal of what they're doing is what? It's to sexually assault women to prove that they're trans or otherwise, but to prove that they have a vagina. That's what their goal is, right? To be able to have definitive proof that everyone entering a woman's bathroom has a fucking pussy. And how can you prove that without sexually assaulting the people entering the bathroom?
Take away free speech, class pedophilia as an identity, remove parental rights, indoctrinate
Good night, Adric.
kids, and they're willing to do violence to obtain their goals. When you say the trans movement, it seems to me that you are speaking generally about trans people having this goal. And when you say trans movement, I don't know exactly what you mean, because it seems that most trans people that I've seen, maybe with the exception of Caitlyn Jenner, seems to disagree with this, seems to identify as being parts of the trans movement. So what is the difference between
Right, Willow.
what is the trans movement? Who is a member of that? What is this organization?
Okay, so what I'm talking about here is the trans movement in the trans activist movement. So the people pushing these ideologies. So we see every single day. Just yesterday, the Texas state capitol was invaded.
It's not about gay people. It's about the gay activist, the flamboyant gays who just try to force it in front of you, who shove it down your throats.
Trans protesters went.
I've got no issue with what people do in the privacy of their own bedrooms, but I just don't want to be subjected to it. It's the same fucking argument. It's the same rebranded bigotry.
We see women being attacked at women's rights rallies.
Nope. No, we don't.
Physically attacked, and we're seeing this trans activist movement pushing for gender affirming care on kids, which is basically putting 11, 12-year-old kids on very harmful hormones. So that's what I'm talking about. When I talk, I'm not generalizing every single trans person. I'm talking about the current trans movement, which has been hijacked by trans activists. And
it sucks so much that the same things I heard about gay people in middle and high school, this is just round two. It literally is. And yeah, the whole bathroom thing, police this thing is just gross, should be arguably is criminal to assault/harass anyone who goes in the toilet just to people wash their hands and leave. Right. Someone posted a picture she took of of someone in the bathroom who she suspected of being trans, and it's you realize that you're the creep in that scenario. This person was just washing her hands or their hands, I don't know, and you took a picture of them and posted it on the internet. You're a fucking creep. You're talking about the privacy of this space and you're taking creep shots in the bathroom. Hi, Christina. I'm okay with everyone so long as they know their place. Hello, 1960.
No, I really think that trans people that have been living as a trans person their whole life, they need to speak out against this, because the problem is that the LGBT community is being hijacked by these
Well,
radical
let me
people.
ask.
And
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to address things you said already, right? So you say that the people who were demonstrating at the
Christina, thank you for gifting a sub.
Texas Capitol are part of this trans movement who wants to, sexualize kids and this whole list of things. They were there to protest a bill, SB 14, that would ban gender related treatment for minors. So these guys are, I guess, see that as an affront as being transphobic. But you disagree because what is minor? Anyone 17 and under? Do you believe that ever there would be a 17-year-old that needed gender affirming care?
So minors basically classified anyone under 18, and what these people were protesting against was the fact that Texas is trying to pass a law to ban hormones and puberty blockers and gender reassignment surgery being administered to children, basically. So,
Who else would you prescribe puberty blockers to? Who else would you prescribe puberty blockers to than a child? If you ban children from getting puberty blockers, why do they exist? Who are they for? The lack of knowledge that people have about puberty blockers, or the willful ignorance that they display, because at a certain point it's no longer just I don't know what I'm talking about. At a certain point it's I don't know what I'm talking about and I refuse to ever learn. I don't want to learn. I want to be angry and I want to be wrong and I want to be angry. And I want to tell you that you're wrong while refusing to ever learn about the subject that I'm supposed to be angry about.
I think these people, firstly, that was an unlawful protest. You can't just go into a state capitol and do that.
Are you
And
in
if they want to have a
Are you in favor of only lawful protests?
well, I think people need to follow the law, and if they want to have a protest, they can have that dialogue. But outside the state house, you can't just storm in a state house. I mean, it's comparable to January 6th when people stormed the Capitol, which was unlawful as well. So I think these people were not protesting about their rights being taken away. It's the fact that they were protesting against a bill that would have actually protected children. So I think that's really harmful.
I actually know a full-grown ass AFAB person that got denied from informed consent from testosterone as a full-grown ass adult at 25. Do you know how fucking strict this shit is? Right, like it's this idea that people are just popping into their local Walgreens like, give me some trans please, and the pharmacist is like, here you go. Like, that's not happening. That's not how this shit works. There's not like a vending machine for estrogen. Like, that's not how this works. But I mean, I really wouldn't give a shit if it was, but it's not.
Some would say that it's actually harming kids, right, to make it illegal to do this because, as you probably know, or I think you did at one point, is that gender affirming care on children.
Wait, you're telling me there's no vending machine for trans? Not yet, but when I'm elected president, I'll make sure that every school has one Hot Cheetos vending machine and one trans vending machine.
Is exceedingly rare. It's actually so rare that it's if to express like irreversible gender changes on children is something like I've got the number here, 0.000493% of U.S. children aged 6 through 17 go through irreversible gender changes. So I guess I'm just.
I'll say, Ethan and his team have really been, they've done their research when it comes to these conversations, so that Ethan's not just flying blind. Sorry, I'm high and speech to text hates my speech impediments drinking ass. No, you're all good. I'm learning. I'm figuring it out. Just give me a few more weeks and I'll speak fluid Adrix text to speech. That's voting fraud percentage numbers. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I love my community. I love the strong representation of trans people, trans and non-binary people, and more broadly queer people in my community. But like the obsession with such a small percentage of the population. I mean, how does anyone take that seriously? Like this rampant, fear mongering around a relatively tiny group of the population. This, you know, repeated incessant attack on this marginalized minority community. How does that not raise alarm bells in people's minds right away? Like, how do you not say, how do you think that this small group of the population controls everything? How does that not, how is that not reminiscent to you of other forms of bigotry? How does that not scare you? I don't get it. How do people fall for that? Like, and it's the people who are the most hateful of trans people and spread this bullshit are people who have never even met or seen a trans person. So it's like, how do you simultaneously believe that trans people are taking over the world, but also you've never even met or seen a trans person in your life? How do you square that circle? Why such a small number of people the targets of conservative porn search terms, right? Good night, Jayhawker. Personally, I think we should be asking for a rebrand on the whole gender diversity thing rather than transgender/transsexual. Let's adopt the convention from the neurodiverse community. We are not trans, we're gender fucking spicy.
Curious because in the cases where they do undergo it, it's usually to save their life, right? Because they might be suicidal or yeah, right. And they go through like panels, they go through multiple rounds of talking to psychiatrists and doctors. So I guess I'm just curious, why is it you think that this is threatening kids instead of actually helping kids who are at high risk of hurting themselves?
So, Ethan, about 10 years ago, when gender affirming care was performed on whether that was minors or adults, there was a lot of checks and balances. Now it has become so easy. So they don't have the psychiatrist appointments anymore. They don't have, having to wait several years to transition. Now it's a very fast track process. And that's the real issue.
That's so not true. I live in an extremely trans-friendly state and city, and I've met several trans people, and only one was a trans woman who are the main focus of this hate. I mean, and if you stop and think about why trans women are the main focus of this hate, and why suddenly these conservatives who have spent their entire careers, the body language from Ethan during this is great. The people who've spent their entire careers talking about how much they hate women and how women have a second place role in society, why their focus is on how it's being on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson, DeSantis gonna suck 2024, why their focus is on how trans men or trans boys are ruining their healthy teenage breasts, and how trans women or trans girls, it's a perversion. It's because they see women as sex objects, and when someone who's assigned female at birth transitions and identifies as a man, they think, oh, I can't find that sexy anymore, or I'm gay, so we have to stop that. Or when someone who is AMAB transitions and is a trans woman or a trans girl, they say, if I like that, it's gay, so we have to stop that. Like, it's the same perverse Christo-fascist, like, rooted in misogyny, which is why there's the idea of turfdom is so fucking stupid. And how you see these people who call themselves feminists arguing that women are biologically inferior to men. Like, there is no logic to their transphobia. It's just gross. It's grotesque sexualization of, women and children trans men. It's perverse. And if you think about it for a second, like, this does a study and fuck off. You deep rewind it, okay?
Why is it you think that this is threatening kids instead of actually helping kids who are at high risk of hurting themselves?
So, Ethan, about 10 years ago, when gender affirming care was performed on whether that was minors or adults, there was a lot of checks and balances. Now it has become so easy. So they don't have the psychiatrist appointments anymore. They don't have, having to wait several years to transition. Now it's a very fast track process. And that's the real issue, because many of these teens, and we're seeing thousands of teens being transitioned and put on hormones, the number's really gone up in the last.
Thousands is tiny. Thousands is minuscule. We were just yelling about this when Tina. Hi, Tina. Thank you for resubbing. Wait, isn't this Oily London? It is Oily London. We were talking about this when we were watching Tim Pool yell about how 20 people were killed by being pushed in front of trains, and how like hilarious it was because of how small that number is. Thousands of teens, tiny percentage of the population. A tiny percentage of the population of the United States. Tiny percentage of the population of the world. Right? Like, it's laughable what they're trying to fearmonger over. They're trying to fearmonger over, like, New Trier's high school's graduating class. That amount of kids. My sibling came out to me as transgender and has started their testosterone injections. Nice.
Last few years. Now, many of these teens are struggling with other issues. There's a high case, around 1 in 6 of these children have autism. They're being misdiagnosed. There's also kids with depression.
If they're being misdiagnosed as trans, how do you know they have autism? If it's a misdiagnosis, how do you know that they're autistic? That doesn't make sense. You wouldn't know that they have autism if it was being misdiagnosed. You wouldn't be able to quantify that. They're just autistic and trans. People can be two things.
Bipolar, and they're being told it must be all of these issues.
Hey, polar.
Must be because they're in the wrong gender, and they are being fast tracked. There was a case in Missouri at the St. Louis Children's Hospital, and basically a whistleblower unveiled.
This whistleblower was a crazy bitch, by the way. Not a doctor, not trained in any sort of. She was improperly handling patients' medical files, and an idiot and a liar.
That they only required like 1 session with a therapist to get a child on hormones and puberty blockers. So that's the issue when a system is being exploited. And there's been trans people forever throughout history. There's so many examples of trans people. But the thing is now is, previously, as difficult as it was, because it's so hard when you're trans to struggle and to think every day that I'm trapped in the wrong body. It is horrific to go through that. But the problem is, years ago, they would have 2 to 3 years they would have to undergo of psychiatrist appointments, doctor's appointments, in order to qualify for a transition. Now it has become so easy, and there are thousands of kids being fast-tracked and put on hormones, prescriptions, and some kids can now go to states like Colorado or Washington State, which have become sanctuary states, and they don't.
I want to stop. I want to actually address what you said about.
Okay, so just to be clear, those sanctuary states just means that they are going to protect the families and the kids, their rights to have gender affirming care, and they're not going to participate in any sort of extraditing of the family to states where those parents could be put under investigation. I don't know what the fuck he's saying, trying to insinuate. Can we please have a clinical narcissism check in the London aisle if we're going to start pathologizing trans people? Right, like Oli London, what is your credentials to diagnose random people you've never met as bipolar and autistic? Just off the dome, just spitballing here. Not a doctor. Don't have any degrees of any kind. No specialties. My brain is melted from the gym and surgery, but I'm sure everyone has I'm sure that everyone is fucking bipolar. Ray, have you been to Colorado? I actually don't think I have. No, I don't think so. Maybe I drove through it.
About you had said something about Jamie Reed's allegations, right?
We need to go. We should go. I've wanted to go for a while.
But that was debunked, right? Because the parents and the children there who actually were attending that facility actually told a completely different story. Have you read their account of that?
Yes, so I saw
Okay.
recently that they did an internal investigation. They said it wasn't true, but no, I don't believe
that
that.
seems significant.
Yes, but I don't
So why
believe
do
that
you-
at all because
Bro, you don't
they're trying to
believe
come.
Hi, Felicity. Thank you. I noticed you stutter. You have every mental illness ever. Hello, Ethan. I noticed that you have you're moving your eyebrows a lot. I'm diagnosing you with gay.
They're back.
You don't believe the internal investigation.
No, because there were multiple parents when the Daily Caller originally did the interview with Jamie Reed.
Oh, because you know who's an unbiased news source? Tucker Carlson's The Daily Caller. When I want to find unbiased media, I go to the organization that used to write articles about the hottest Syrian refugees. I remember someone asked if I was R-worded because of my speech. Oh my god. Oh my god, yes! Wait, in the chat that day, when I was there, I remember that. That was so fucked up. That was so weird.
There were multiple parents that said basically their kids weren't looked after once they left the clinic. There were no checks and balances, and there were parents confirming.
You literally would not be able to get that prescription without going to see your endocrinologist. You need regular checkups to literally, the way it works in America, you cannot get those prescriptions filled, some of them, unless you go physically to see your doctor, especially with kids. This is absolute utter bullshit.
That. So, I believe the investigation has a lot of bias because
So-
it's done by the clinic and they're profiting.
So the internal investigation.
They're profiting. A non-profit clinic is profiting. You know, there's something in the name non-profit that makes me think maybe Oli London, that what you just said was bullshit. There's something in the term non-profit that sort of negates what you just said.
Said there was no wrongdoings. The patients said there was no wrongdoings. So I guess I'm just curious. The people who are claiming that there was something wrong there is like the Daily Caller, Tucker Carlson. Are you saying that they don't have a bias?
Well, I mean, a lot of people have a bias and stuff, but we have to look at these gender clinics as a whole. Project Veritas exposed multiple clinics.
You know, if your main source is to support your argument. Good one, story girl. If your main sources are the Daily Caller and Project Veritas, I mean, God, you're just swimming in logic. You're overflowing with logic.
The other day of talking about medically transitioning 8 to 11-year-olds. So we have to acknowledge that this is going on in a lot of clinics, and a lot of these clinics are trying to cover their backs by trying to paint a rosy picture that it's perfect.
Did you
it's
say
fine.
Project Veritas?
Yes, they did an undercover
that's
investigation.
the guy. That's the guy who got ousted for being like a sex criminal and like scam artist, James O'Keefe. That's his organization, right?
He's not part of that organization now.
James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, which have been sued, him individually and as an organization, a fuck ton of times for misleading people.
So the organization that he left, Project Veritas, the original organization, did this
They
investigation.
don't have a lot of
in,
credibility, Veritas. It seems like every investigation they do is just chock full holes of untruths and just blatant lies. I don't think it's a very credible institution for pulling data from.
Well, there's multiple organizations like Project Veritas that do expose
Which other
this.
ones?
So Gays Against Groomers, I'm ambassador for them. They are
Gays
also
Against
exposing
Groomers.
this happening in clinics.
Yeah, no bias there. No bias there in that organization.
Gays Against Groomers.
You can see Oli London get increasingly uncomfortable, and we're just at the beginning.
So who's?
Have you heard of them?
I haven't, but who's the groomer then?
So basically, Gays Against Groomers is an organization of hundreds of LGBT.
How did Ethan get Oli London on this show? Why did Oli London agree to do this? I don't know if we watched this together or not, but Ethan brought on someone who was involved in the Nexium cult. That one was good. And that guy just so happened to claim that he had Nexium cured his Tourette's without knowing that Ethan has Tourette's.
LGBT people. It includes trans people as well. Basically, this organization is calling out the harms. They're doing investigations of gender clinics, calling out the harms of doing this to kids. Because look,
Where's
we
the
get that some
grooming come in though? That's the part that I find
That group doesn't do investigations. They tweet. That's all they do is tweet.
really inflammatory, because grooming implies that trans people or trans activists,
We're
and
back.
it's what you said here in this tweet, that they're pedophiles, that they're sexualizing kids. So where's that evidence come from? Because it's one thing to say we're against gender affirming care for minors, but it's a whole different thing to say, they're grooming.
Well, that word is basically used because we're seeing many drag shows, like adult drag shows, where kids are attending, and it's very sexually explicit. So that is a form of grooming. We also see these kids' books in public libraries and in schools where they're teaching kids about drag and being trans. That's not a subject a kid should hear. So that is a form of grooming because it's indoctrinating kids.
I've heard, I know that there was that one drag show with kids that was kind of a hot button issue. What other examples can you think of drag shows with kids involved where they're being groomed?
So there's in the last year, there's an investigative journalist, Taylor Hanson. He's exposed at least 20 drag shows in Texas that are called all ages drag shows. They're called all ages drag shows, and they're basically doing sex acts on stage. They have breasts. They're doing very inappropriate things. So no, it's just.
So hold on, sorry, Oli, you're making so many claims, and I just want to get to each one. You mentioned an organization, Gays Against Groomers, which was founded by Jamie Mitchell. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jamie Mitchell and their partner are ultra MAGA Trump followers, and there's nothing wrong with being a Trump supporter, but they're also anti-transgender. They spread anti-transgender propaganda with QAnon conspiracy theories, and interestingly, the founders are straight. So how is it that they can make a Gays Against a Groomers organization when they themselves are not even gay? That seems disingenuous.
Well, firstly, that's a Wikipedia page. Wikipedia has a lot of bias with the woke people that write on there.
Jamie Mitchell is gay.
She's gay. She's a lesbian. All of the people, you have to be LGBT to be a member.
How do they check?
That's not true. One sec, my camera died, so I have to change the battery. That's not true because they just hired an ambassador who is a straight woman who's an outspoken homophobe.
Of Gays Against Groomers. So there's
how do they
of trans
verify
people.
the credentials?
No, I mean, if someone says they're gay or bi, you accept that. You don't say, "Oh, can you prove that you're gay? How can you prove that?" So, Jamie Mitchell is a lesbian. All of the members are lesbians, trans. It's not anti-transgender at all. They support people being trans as an adult, but what they're trying to do is calling out the harm that we're seeing caused to children, and that's the real issue here, is about protecting kids.
So go back to your claim about grooming. So you brought up the drag show for kids. Is there any other examples, or are we just talking about drag shows? Because I have to assume that the drag shows, even if it's as widespread as Project Veritas claims, which heaven knows how credible they are, there's got to be other examples to make such bold claims as that there's a whole movement trying to sexualize kids.
Yeah, even if you look at the music industry, you have really shocking performances like Sam Smith, for instance, who is pushing a specific agenda. He has concerts which are allowing all ages. And, if you want to be a musician, do whatever you want, but don't be doing sexually graphic things. He's doing imitating blowjobs. He has, fetish gear on, and there's kids in the audience. So it's not just.
Those concerts were 18 plus. Those concerts were 18 plus. So that's just a lie.
Just about drag queens. It's about protecting kids in general. So even if it's Cardi B, I don't think kids should be at a Cardi B concert if she's twerking or doing like something very, very sexual. I think it's just about protecting
grooming.
kids.
you know, you turn on the TV. I mean, you see stuff worse than that, right? On YouTube and stuff. To say they're
Yeah.
grooming them seems pretty disingenuous and actually really homophobic and transphobic to put this label that they're groomers, because you understand the gravity of such a claim, right?
Well, it's a very loaded word. I get that, but it's not an attack on the LGBT community at all. It's about basically calling out specific cases. It's not an attack on trans people, calling out specific cases where children are being exposed to something that's highly inappropriate and trying to raise awareness of that. So it's not a label that's attached to gay people, lesbians, trans people. It's literally about calling out specific instances of
I want to ask you about
harming
something
children.
specific. Actually, since you bring it up, I have seen something troubling from a trans person that I thought was kind of gross. They were selling, it was like a kid's T-shirt with a trans person on it, and then they had like kids' toys with trans people on it, and it was kind of gross and groomy. Have you seen anything like that before?
You know, I've seen T-shirts that the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota wore, "Protect Trans Kids" with a knife on it. You know, things like that. I've seen T-shirts that says "Protect Trans Rights" with AK-47s on it and stuff. And you know, I don't think that's helpful messaging for. And that's just trans activists, by the way, Ethan. This is a small number of people, and that's who I'm calling out. That's who Gays Against Groomers are calling out. It's not the trans community as a whole. Specific trans activists who have highlighted, have hijacked the trans movement.
God is so fucking ugly. It's just like so hard to look at him. He's so ugly.
So actually,
Like the space between his eyebrows and his eyelid. It's unpleasant to look at.
you know what's interesting, Ollie? If you go to your website,
I like that Hassan is calling him, or not Hassan, that Ethan is calling him Ali. Instead of like Ollie. It's like Ali. Like he's Middle Eastern.
right now, your merch website, I was actually
Where
talking
he was a personal shopper, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Pronouns made his eyes off center. No.
about your merch. You are actually selling kids' lunchboxes with a picture of you depicted as a trans woman, and you're
Shut up. This is not real. This isn't real. Making the Aigo face? No, stop. Stop. Not the Aigo face lunchbox. Ollie, what the hell? That's perverted. Like, this is literally like a sex face. You're selling kids lunch. First of all, who's buying this? Who has ever bought this? I just can't fathom that any child is walking around holding the Oli London Aigo face lunchbox.
you're selling
No,
it.
that's not as a trans woman.
Oh,
That's
it's
not as
not.
a trans woman. That's just a K-pop picture of me.
I had a feeling you would say that because here it is, you wearing that design, and it's pretty obvious to tell that this is depicting you. This is
Yes,
from just
correct.
like a month ago, and this is when you were
Wearing
trans.
my merch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's appropriate to sell?
My apology to Jimin is the name of the video.
And this is when you were
Wearing
trans.
my merch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's appropriate to sell this to kids?
Well, it's a lunchbox with a picture of a K-pop cartoon. There's
Well, it's
nothing
you as a
inappropriate with
trans.
that.
It's you as a trans woman.
It's me as a K-pop
Mine just came in the mail.
star. It's nothing to do with being trans or not. That's just a cartoon of me as a K-pop star. So it's not.
But at the
that's not inappropriate.
But even, like, let's divorce this from him being trans or whatever. How is it appropriate for you to have, like, targeted merch towards children? How is that, like, how is trans people existing and wanting to protect trans children grooming, but you selling merch geared towards children not?
Right, but at the time you were a trans woman.
Correct. At the time, I was a trans woman, but there's nothing inappropriate.
So it's you
with
as a
that.
trans woman.
That I was a trans woman at the time. That picture does not depict me as a trans woman. It depicts me as a K-pop star. But
I find
it
that
doesn't depict
interesting that you're
anything.
willing to make that separation when you're making such general claims about groomers and stuff. Because to me, by your own definition, this is pretty groomy. And even if you go, and this is all
It's an
on.
innocent
Well, hold
picture.
on,
It's an
Ollie. Hold
innocent
on one
picture.
sec. Even if you go on your website right now, you're selling the same graphic, Oli London, Oli Merch Squad, as you depicted as a trans woman, And if you look at the available sizes, it's just kids, 3 to 4.
3 to 4? 3 to 4-year-olds?
Do you think it's appropriate for a 3 to 4-year-old to buy this shirt?
Yeah, of course. Any K-pop fan, if they want to buy my merch, they're absolutely entitled to. There's nothing inappropriate
What do you have to do with K-pop? You're not a K-pop star.
with that merch at all. It's
That is a
cartoon
trans
thing.
woman, Ollie. You're not understanding
You're
your own
clutching at
logic.
straws. You're clutching at straws.
How am
That's
I? You were.
Why is your tongue out, bitch? How is it appropriate to be like on a kid's shirt? When my cousin was younger, she was, I don't know, like 12. She posted a profile picture on Facebook of her sticking her tongue out, and I called her and I was like, you better change your profile picture right fucking now. You better change that shit right now. I love you, but I know how creepy people are on the internet. You better get this shit off your profile.
Okay, hold on. Let's follow this through. You were a trans woman when you made this. There's a picture of you wearing it. It's obviously you as a trans woman. Here's you as a trans woman, and here's you as a trans woman on the shirt, on a kid's shirt. How am I clutching at straws?
Well, you're clutching at straws. It's an innocent cartoon. It doesn't say anything about indoctrinating
The tongue
children.
is
It's
somewhat
literally a
sexual.
It doesn't say anything about indoctrinating children. Oh, because when people indoctrinate children, usually they label it.
How the tongue is out like that, it's a little disturbing.
Ethan, come on, I'm doing a K-pop pose. You're just clutching at straws.
Way to stop your niece from becoming a K-pop star, you fascist.
No, why is the tongue out? I find that a little provocative.
Ethan, it's a cartoon. You're just trying to make
Well,
a joke
I
out
don't
of
know
it.
because you're well. No, I'm not trying to make a joke. I think this is a somewhat serious issue to resolve here because if you no, I'm being serious, Ollie, because let's at least be consistent. If we're going to accuse people of grooming kids, and which you have made a short-lived but somewhat profitable career of doing, then I think we need to, we need to get on top of this. I just don't think it's appropriate to be selling lunch boxes with a trans woman
if
on
that
it.
lunchbox, Ethan, if that lunchbox had something inappropriate or sexual, that would be wrong. But this is an innocent.
You're going like this. I shouldn't have done that. But how is that not inappropriate or sexual?
Cartoon of me doing a K-pop pose. There's nothing wrong with that particular picture. If it was inappropriate or in a sexual way, that would be completely wrong. And of course, I would never sell that. But that's an innocent drawing of a cartoon, Ethan.
Let's say a kid's at a drag queen show. That's grooming. And let's say they are selling lunch boxes to the kids of with a picture of a drag queen on it, doing a cute pose or whatever, right? Not sexual, but they're in drag. Do you think it's appropriate for a kid to carry that lunchbox?
Well, I think it's appropriate if the kid's at a drag show that's inappropriate, because some drag shows are generally not inappropriate, but
Okay,
a lot
so
of them are becoming
okay, that's
sexualized.
interesting. So some drag shows are appropriate and some aren't.
Correct. It's about if you're going to do anything in front of kids, it should be PC. It should not have anything sexual. But sadly, a lot of these shows are doing sexual things, so kids should not be there. If the merch is there and it's a show that's sexual, they shouldn't be there in the first place.
Okay, this is interesting. So you're saying it is okay for kids to go to drag shows?
I'm not saying that at all. I don't think they should in general, but I'm just saying
if they're not sexual, and I would assume it's not because it's for kids, right? I mean, if they're doing sexual stuff, I would consider that. Obviously, everyone would consider that inappropriate. But I believe you've just said drag shows are safe for kids. In fact, you would even be okay. Well, hold on. You even said you'd be okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting really tired. I'll bookmark where we were so that we can pick this up tomorrow. I've been having issues with my medication. I have it, but I think that maybe it's losing some effectiveness. I've been on the same medication for years. Lately I've not been so on top of things. I've not been really with it. I've been having trouble finishing my sentences. I've been getting tired way earlier than I usually would. So I'm not going to push myself. I'm going to listen to my body that it says that it's tired. Which is not like me, so say good job, Ray.
I don't think that men can control crazy women.
Thank you so much, Marshall, for the 100 biddies. Let's raid Matt Binder. And I'll see you all tomorrow. And then every day after that for the rest of my life. Okay, bye.